Daf Yomi tractate Bava Batra, page 78b, with top of the page, with the words Mil Ta'achriti Kamar. We were saying yesterday that the Gemara rejects this proof that Rabbi Yehuda was speaking of a different matter and was not necessarily addressing the same case discussed as in the beginning of the Mishnah. 78b on the top, Milsa Achriti Kamar. He was talking about a different thing. Amar le Ravina le Ravashi Tashema. If you want to get the whole story behind this, just please see the previous video at the bottom of 78a, and then you can get the context. But for time, I'm going to move forward. Amar le Ravina le Ravashi Tashema. Ravina said to Ravashi, come in here, a resolution of the dilemma. Toshima machar is a koroin le machar is a paradois vitani rav tachlifa barmarove kamed ravivahu machar is a koroin machar is a paradois amarle v'hanan lo machar tnan v'amarle asmaye v'amarle lo titargem matnitach be'akdukim bo. Ravina says to Ravashi, come in here, resolution of the dilemma. It was taught in the previous Mishnah. If one sold a wagon, he has not sold the mules. To pull the wagon, and Rav Tachlifa from the west, meaning Eretz Yisrael, taught a Braita before Rabbi Abahu. If one sold the wagon, he has sold the mules along with it. Rabbi Abahu said to him, but didn't we learn in the Mishnah that he has not sold mules? And Rav Tachlifa said to him, should I erase the Braita? Rabbi Bava said to him, no, you should explain that your Braita is referring to a case where the mules are fastened to the wagon. One can learn by inference Rabbi Bava's statement that the Mishnah is referring to a situation where the mules are not fastened to the wagon. And since the first clause, meaning the previous Mishnah, is referring to a case corresponding to where the vessels were not on the donkey, in other words, the mules were not fastened to the wagon, the latter clause in the Mishnah here, but also referring to a situation where the vessels are not on the donkey. Adarabe, the Gemara rejects his proof. On the contrary, Rabbi Papa. Today is Wednesday because of Rabbi Papa, even though it's Monday, and I'll say Rav Papa, but Wednesday is Rav Papa. Why? It's very deep. This is a secret that I learned in Azamra many moons ago. It was actually about 2 years ago, that there was a certain kavanah, a certain intention, a certain focus, that when Rav Papa appears, it's Yom Revi'i, it's Wednesday. He has a connection, a shaychut, a shayches to Wednesday. Amar Rav Papa iska diga bigave midrashe beodan alav sevanami beodan alav elatana mili katani. The Gemara rejects his proof. On the contrary, says the first clause, the preceding Mishnah, one who sells a ship sells the mast along with it, but he has not sold either the slaves nor the antique. And we said, what is the meaning of antique? It's not antiques. Rav Papa said it means the merchandise that is in the ship, which very well could be antiques, but doesn't necessarily mean antiques. But according to your logic, since the first clause, meaning the Mishnah concerning the ship, is referring to a case where the merchandise is on the ship, the latter clause of the Mishnah must also be referring to the case where the vessels are on the donkey. Rather, the Tana teaches each statement individually and the circumstances of the ruling do not prove that another ruling is referring to a parallel case. The simon is Zagam Nisan. The Gemara provides a mnemonic based on the letters of the names of the Tanaim who appear here. Zayin, Gimel, Mem. Nun, Samech Nun. Zagam Nisan. What I like about these simanim is that they go not necessarily by the first letter. It could be like Elazar could be Zion, because there's a Zion in there. That's like, when I do coding, I do that kind of stuff too. Without drawing it from here, although maybe subconsciously. Amr Baya said, Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, ben Rabbi Meir, Rabbi Nassim ben Sumchis, v'Nachum Amadi, Kulis v'Relu ki mezabenini shmidi, ihu v'chol tashmite mezabin. The Gemara provides the mnemonic based on the letters of the names of the Tanaim who appear here. Zayin Gimel Mem Nun Samach Nun. Abaye said Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel, that's the Gimel. Rabbi Meir, that's the Mem. Rabbi Natan, that's the Nun. Sumches is Samach, and Nahum Amadi is the Nun. All hold that when a person sells an item, he sells it in all of its accoutrements. Alle Sachen coming along with days. Rabbi Eliezer Ritnan, Rabbi Eliezer Amoicher is Beis Habad. If someone sells a Chabad house, I'm just kidding. Mocher Beis Habad is someone. Rabbi Eliezer holds this, as we learned in the Mishnah in 67b. Rabbi Eliezer says one who sells an olive press has sold a beam used for pressing the olives. Moches a koire. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel does not. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel moches as a santir. Rabbi Meir. Rabbi Meir is also Wednesday. Meir is Wednesday. That's not a Zamra. That's my own thing. Meir is Wednesday. Titania. Rabbi Meir oimer moches a kerem. Mocher tashmish ya kerem. Rabbi Nassim besumchis. Beitzit v'dugit. Nachum Amadi, Adamon. Okay, so Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel holds this. We're in the Mishnah 68b. Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel says one who sells a city has sold the city's guardsman. Rabbi Meir holds this, as it is taught in the Bride. Rabbi Meir says if one sold a vineyard, he has sold the accoutrements of the vineyard. Rabbi Natan and Sumchos hold this, that as they cite with regard to Beitzit and Dugit, the light-going boats of the ship, which they claim are sold when the ship is sold. It's like in a large ship, and you have like these mini ships that are used for fishing. These little fishing boats that are contained within the big ship, and it's on 73a. We saw this on 73a. Nachum Mead holds this, as is evident from that which is said in Mishnah here. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Pa'amim Mahurim Ma'ishnach Hamoed Chazo Ma'ishnach Hamoed Chahu. The Mishnah teaches, Rabbi Yehuda says that there are times when the vessels are sold, and there are times when they are not sold. How so? If the donkey was before him and the vessels were on it, then the buyer said to him, "Sell me this donkey of yours." Its vessels are sold. And the buyer said, "Is the donkey yours? I wish to purchase it." The vessels are not sold. The Gemara asks, what is different in the case where the buyer said, "Sell me this donkey of yours," and what is the difference in the case when he said, "Is the donkey yours?" Rov said, mishum keilav kamileh. Rava said that when the buyer says, "Sell me this donkey of yours," he knows that the donkey belongs to the seller. And as for that which he said to him, he said that to him due to its vessels. By contrast, when the buyer says, "Is the donkey yours?" this indicates that the buyer does not know that the donkey belongs to the seller, and this is what he is saying to him. Is the donkey yours, that you can sell it to me? In this case, he is interested only in the donkey and not its vessels. And that is the end of that. Starting in the Mishnah. Baganaduti la Mishkano seah. Chamocher as a chamor. Machar as a siach. Machar as a pora. Machar as a bono. Machar ashpa. Machar zivla. Machar bor. Machar memia. Machar kiveris. Machar devoirim. Machar shoivach. Machar yoinim. One who sells a female donkey has sold its foal along with it, but one who has sold a cow has not sold its young. One who has sold a dunghill has sold its manure. One who sold a cistern has sold its water. One who sold a beehive has sold the bees in it. I don't see what that's necessary. I mean, what else would you sell? Just an empty beehive? Of course it's with the bees. But anyway, I guess we have to state the law for it to be, it's written. And likewise, when it was sold the dovecote, has sold the doves. The Gemara says, Heichi dummy. Do you take me for a dummy? No, I'm just kidding. Heichi dummy means the Mishnah teaches that if one sells a donkey, he has sold a foal, but if one sells a cow, he has not sold the calf. The Gemara asks, what are the circumstances? Heichi dami. The Mishnah teaches that if one sells a donkey, he has sold its foal, but if one sells a cow, he has not sold his calf. The Gemara asks, what are the circumstances in this case where the seller says to the buyer that he is selling it and it's young? Even the cow and its young should be sold as well. If this is the case, where he does not say to him that he is selling it and it's young, even the donkey should not be sold as full. Amarav Papa, it's Wednesday. Amarav Papa, Damarle, Chamor Manika Bora Manika, Ani Moicher, Bish, Namapara Ika Lamemar, Lechalava Boilach. It's kind of like on Tuesday when I'd see someone wearing a garment that has the color fuchsia. It's like, today is Tuesday, and that's fuchsia. Now, I could see the same person walking on Monday or Friday, and they're wearing the same color. But if it's Tuesday, my mind reader is going to go, Tuesday, fuchsia, there. So these foci are like codes. And like the slogan of Ethereum Classic, code is law. Code is law. And if Rav Papa is Wednesday, then that's part of, this is the whole shtick. This is the whole meditation. Papa's Wednesday, Reb Meir's Wednesday, Reb Akiva's Thursday. And Keseder, you go forward like that. Hopefully we'll come to something. Rav Papa says, okay, where are we holding? Rav Papa said, this is referring to a case. Okay, referring to a case where the seller says to the buyer, I'm selling you a nursing donkey, or I'm selling you a nursing cow. Granted, with regard to the cow, one could say that he needs it for the milk, and the suckling calf would not necessarily be included in the sale. But with regard to the donkey, for what reason is he saying to him that the donkey is nursing, since he does not need the milk of a donkey? Learn from here that he is saying to him that he is selling it and it's young. The Gemara adds tangentially, and why does the Mishnah call a donkey full a siach? Because it follows after and obeys pleasant talk, sicha. Whereas an old donkey must be led forcibly. Amar Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman, Amar Rabbi Yochanan, Mai dichtiv al ken yomru hamoshlim. The Gemara cites a related discussion. Rabbi Shmuel bar Nachman says, Rabbi Yochanan says, what is the meaning of that which is written, therefore they shall speak in parables? Come to Cheshbon, let the city of Sichon be built and established, for a fire has gone out of Cheshbon, and a flame from the city of Sichon. It has devoured Ar of Moab, and the lords of the high places of Arnon. Numbers 21, 27 through 28. This is Parshas Chukas, I believe. Dach Mir, yeah. Hamoshlim, Elu Hamoshlim Bitzoram, Bo Cheshbon, Bo Nachshem Cheshbon Shel the Gemara interprets these verses homiletically. Hamoshlim, these are the people who rule over their evil inclination. They will say, come to Cheshbon, meaning, come and let us calculate the account of the world. The financial loss incurred by the fulfillment of a mitzvah in contrast to its reward and the reward of committing a transgression. They do a nice drasha here. They say Hamoshlim are those who rule, not necessarily who tell parables, but Moshel, they rule over their Yetzer Hara. And they say, Ba'u Cheshbon, let us make a Cheshbon. Lama machna Cheshbon, azoi. You know, if you have to pay a lot of money for an esrog, okay, it's a lot of money, you're losing money, but the money at the end of the day, you're getting a massive mitzvah. It's a good Cheshbon, they make a Cheshbon. Also, by the opposite is true. By Avera, they say, there's some pleasure here, but what's going to be the payment? You're going to pay a lot more. For the reward of sin is death, Ganze, state in Romans, right? Yeah, it says the reward of sin is death. Das steht. Tivin is a coin. תיבנה בעולם הזה, ותיקחוני לעולם הבא. עיר שיחוני מיישמו דמעצמוי כעיר זה, שמהלך החשיך הנועה. מה כתיב אחרוב, כי אש יצא מחשבון, תצא אש ממחשבין, ותאכל אש שאינן מחשבין. Let it be built and established means that if you make this calculation, you will be built in this world and you will be established in the world to come. The phrase Yersichon means that if a person fashions himself like this young donkey and follows after pleasant talk, if one is easily, in other words, the meaning of that is one is easily tempted to listen to his inclination, what is written after it, for a fire is gone out of Cheshbon, it has devoured. In other words, a fire will go out from those who calculate the effect of their deeds in the world, and will consume those who do not calculate and examine their ways, but instead do as they please. Vilava mikiryat sichon mikiryat tzadikim shenikro sichin. Achlan moyev ze mahalach haritzore ki ir ze jemalach achar sichin oe. Bali bomois arnoin. Eilu gase ruach. Diomar mar kol odom sheyesh ba gasus ruach noifil begehenom. A similar interpretation applies to the continuation of the verse. A flame from the city of Sichon. This means that a flame will come from the city of righteous people, who are called trees. It has devoured Ar of Moab. But this is referring to one who follows after his inclination, like this young donkey that follows after pleasant talk. The lords of the high places of Arnon. This is referring to the arrogant, as the Master says, every person who has arrogance in him will fall into Gehenna. אין רם, עבד חשבונו של העולם עד דיבון. אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא, המתן עד שיבוא דין ונשים. Oh, this is a cliffhanger, Ganzi. You have to stay tuned for the next daf. The Gemara interprets the subsequent verse. We have not shot at them. We have shot at them. We have, affirmative, positive. We have shot at them. Cheshbon is perished, even until Dibon. And we have laid waste even until Nofa, which reaches until Mediba. Numbers 21:30. This indicates that the wicked person says, there is no higher. Ein Ram. V'niram, he says, Ein Ram. There is no higher power governing the world. Cheshbon has perished means the account, the Cheshbon of the world has perished. In other words, they claim there is no accountability for one's actions. Even until Dibon, the Holy One, blessed be He, says, wait until judgment comes. Yavo Din. Dibon. Yavo Din. And we have laid waste, and we're stopping right in the middle. It's, hence the cliffhanger. And stay tuned for Daf 79, guys.